Hello, YouTube land. Can you hear me, please? Let me know. I think Discord is good to go. Someone please type in the chat box, if possible, that you can hear me on YouTube. Thank you, Space Cowboy. Alright. I will be back in 90 seconds.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites are digital and used for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment and hold Staples Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers are listed without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results at all, of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and its webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific recommendations. Analysis of share trades, potential trades, and I take for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this is to teach and identify specific areas of trading potential themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and can potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values to help me pinpoint exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices to enter trades, whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet and enter your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices until you're able to draw the zones correctly yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade, as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade. Alright, good morning. Sorry you can hear the Discord, everyone coming in there, but I never am able to mute that for some reason, or it never stays muted, so I'm not going to spend time trying to find that. Alright, so something, somebody's buying the absolute bejesus out of the ES for the last, since the open basically. Counted up to this point, and I just made this zone one big zone. I mean, we have thresholds. I have thresholds for my, that I'll draw a zone and trade off of. It's 700 in ES most days. Well, there's been about 13,000 buy ice in here. So somebody is buying this like crazy in this area. You got a little blip of sell ice here on these sweeps, this sweep up, but it was still in this zone. So I'm just going to keep the zone like it is. This is pretty rare. Again, you usually get a blip or two, and then you can make a smaller condensed zone. But this is pretty unheard of. This is a 13-point zone. So, like I tell you guys every week, I don't impose my will on the market. Meaning, if I end up trading this zone, which is very likely because the move out of here is probably going to be a whopper, I will get in once the market, depending on the strategy, we'll go over those, or if the market moves an ATR out of here, retest fail, that's the conservative entry, or just the ATR, just outside the ATR, that's the aggressive entry. But anyway I trade this, I plug in my values of this spreadsheet, and this spreadsheet is actually ready for access for you guys. We'll go over this. If you want this as a subscription, if you guys aren't able to get to my trade room, we'll go over that. But anyway, you can see the zone is, 13 points or 12 points wide, basically. Well, if I put on a trade, I'm risking 19 points of risk, right? I don't change where I'm getting in and getting out. That's all plugged. That all goes by the ATR, the average true range, which is actually up to 3.77, and the zone size, right? What I do change is the size I can put on, right? So if this zone was only, say, 5 points wide, you'll see here, I would be able to put on 7.41 or round up to 8, right? But that's not the case. So I don't impose my will. This zone is the zone. There's 13,000 bias in the zone. I've got to respect that. I don't, and then that goes for those of you that, if you, whatever way I trade this, if you guys are jumping in and trading the same way or whatever, So many of you will probably get long, and then you'll put your stop like right there because you only like to risk 5 points. Well, that's just smack dab in the middle of the zone. I'm putting my stop outside of the zone and an ATR outside of that, just outside of an ATR outside that. That's how I avoid getting algoed, and this is algos. The market is 85% or more algos. They take all traders' money that like to trail their stops in the middle of nowhere. So these algos pick this up just like we could see it, right, through Bookmap, through the incredible Bookmap SI indicator. And they know when nothing's going on, that's when they start their nonsense, right? So stop trailing your stops in the middle of nowhere. So we will see, whatever way I trade this, my stop's going to be far away, but it is what it is. I just adjust my size. I don't adjust what I want to risk. So first rant of the day. So that is that bigger picture here. This is why this is just incredible information. So these are my inflection zones that my room has access to, which you guys will have subscription as well. I have that. I'll show you here in a second, like I said. So this is all occurring basically. A part of this occurred outside of this zone, but some of it occurred in this zone by ice. So I will actually take this trade out of this zone to the upside aggressively, and I also know that I've got 13,000 buy ice behind me, right? The paper's not always right, but a lot of time paper, the big money, it's called paper, trading lingo, it's called paper, the big houses, the big funds, whoever this is, they're basically making themselves right at this point. The market keeps coming down and it just keeps coming in. Eventually, whoever's selling this is going to relent most likely and it's going to rip. But they're not always right. So if this does move below here, well, guess what? Then they're caught 13,000 contracts that have to get out. Yes, you don't know exactly what they're doing. Don't send me emails saying, how do you know? They could be hedging their options positions. They could be getting out of shorts. They could be. You never know. So you have to look at it just as initiation of positions, right? They just make trading simple. You're never going to know unless you're God Almighty or sitting next to the dude that's putting this in what they're trying to accomplish.
Stop
right?
by ZL 391 contracts.
So the only way, and it's the best way that I've seen, is you approach this as they're initiating positions, and somebody, when this moves out of this area, it's going to rip. So that's the whole idea behind what we're doing with this stuff, is to find trap traders, right? So this is just, imagine this kind of information, which we have in important areas, which I have, right? So you could be looking at whatever you're looking at that you think is important, and then you get your real-time volume data, then that provides the best edge there is out there, right? So again, this may be a 200-day moving average that you guys are looking at, a Bollinger Band, whatever. If that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what you may be using. I do know traders have too much crap on their charts, but if you can have your area and then get it confirmed, I mean, how good is an area if you're looking at a support area other than like my inflection zone here? You have a support area and you see somebody just keeps buying it in this area. Does that not give you extra confidence to put the long on? You see what I'm saying? So this is what drives markets, not lines on a chart. It's what is happening right now. So we will let this develop and see what happens there. So quickly, what I was telling you guys, so this is let me share this sheet. This is all my information. I put the new spreadsheet on here as well. I mean, the new website where you can access a spreadsheet in the inflection zones. That's the site here. Be patient. This is very raw. I wanted to get it out to you. I've been telling you for 3 weeks. I'm waiting for this developer to finish this thing, so it's going to change a little bit, but you'll get access to the sheets. So you're going to get a version of this, but it's going to be in this website, right? So you come in here and you plug in your account size and how much you want to risk per trade. Like I tell you guys every week, you shouldn't be risking 10%.
Iceberg by ES 700 to contracts.
And there's even more in here, right in the middle, right? So whoever this is basically going to, in my opinion, they're going to make themselves right? The market's going to relent eventually. They just keep buying it. So it's going to be very interesting when we move out here. So anyway, back to this. You get your access to the spreadsheet. You put your stuff in. You put your zone prices in. Once if you understand how to draw the zones, that's what I go over in these webinars. You put in your ATR. This is a 5-minute Wilders ATR. I'm going to have like more of a video of what to do here too. Again, this is very raw. It's just access to the stuff. So you come in here, the zone price, that's $59 a month for my charts. $24 a month. If you want both, $83 a month. If you come into my room, you get access to all this stuff for free. So my room's $149 a month, but you get 2 webinars a day most days. And lately it hasn't been 2 webinars because the PM afternoon trade just absolutely sucks. But most days you get 2 webinars and all the information in my trade room, and all this stuff in here, knowledgeable, capable traders that have been in here for a long time, right? So you get access to all that for an extra whatever $70. But I understand a lot of you guys have jobs and you feel like you're not going to be in the trade room a lot, then now you have access to this stuff.
Sell NQ 200 for contract.
So that is on the spreadsheet at scalpelsingytrader.org. My regular website is scalpelsingytrader.com, and that's where you get access to all the all my stuff that I use. These are all discounts to Bookmap, Apex Trading. We'll go over that. Spot Gamma, the Hero Indicator, Tick Strike, all the stuff I use. Speaking of Tick Strike, let's get some torture going. I cannot trade without Tick Strike and Market Pulse. Market Pulse is the new indicator, but like I tell you guys every week, there's nothing worse than watching a position rip against you and you get to listen to it too. So that's, as you'll see here, hopefully we don't have positions ripping against us, but you'll see. All right, so we just got something in NASDAQ. This market keeps moving down. So like I said, somebody's going to be wrong here in ES, and it's going to be fun to watch. So it's right at the bottom here. We'll come back to that. I'm not taking any shorts aggressively out of here. Algo guy. So this is one of the things we use in the room. This is an exponential moving average. This is bearish right now. If the blue is the shorter term moving average, the red is the longer term. It tried to pull above there. The price got above there. Couldn't pull the blue above the red. Now it's back below. Many times you get the next wave down. So that is bearish. I will take shorts, but they have to be retest failure based on my strategies, and we'll go over that. So that is waiting. Let's see what's going on here in NASDAQ. This is actually the first setup of the morning in NASDAQ, and you heard it. You got this out of the way. You got 216 sell stops. So we have thresholds for each market. I have thresholds for each market that I trade from watching thousands and thousands and thousands of these setups. I know what is relevant in most of these markets and what is not, meaning tradable, right? So I won't draw if there's a 50 lot stop run. I don't trade off of it. If it's 200, if it's 150 or more, I trade off of it, right? So that's what I mean by thresholds. So and that's all part of my trading course where you get. Oh, by the way, next Thursday I'll be releasing not only one course, because I know it's been forever for the new SI Indicator course. I'm releasing 3 courses. There's going to be the SI Indicator course, the new for 2023, where you have the zone drawing, the ATR explanation, all of that stuff. And then there's going to be a trading strategies course where I go over each one of these strategies, and it's going to be like a updated. So if you get the course, you're always going to, every time I add a new setup, and there's going to be probably about 50 behind these, right? We're adding them slowly so everyone's not confused in my trading room, but there are so many more behind these, so you'll have lifetime access to any time I add a new trading strategy for that course. And then there's going to be an ATR reversion course and you actually have access to this ATR reversion trade and on this subscription as well. So the subscription gives you access to the position trading side of this website or web page spreadsheet, and then it gives you access to this as well. I'll have a short video on this for the video, but I mean for the website, but the video or the course is going to dive into this exact trade and what how you trade it. But so this trade is basically we're playing for reversions back to the volume event, which are uncanny how often it happens. I've told you guys for years and years and years. We're sitting here watching these setups, and I'm like, okay, well, it's about 70% from my studies. It's about 70% or higher that the market will retest this volume event, unless something else comes in. And then I finally got around. We were doing the trading in the zone document, and we were going over trading in the zone, and one of his exercises is to come up with an edge and test it. As long as you're consistent and there's an edge, you make money, right? So I'm like, well, if I always say these things retest these zones 20% or 70% of the time, why don't I take advantage of the move back to the zone? So that's what that ATR reversion is. So you guys, that's next, and so that's next Thursday, and I'm hoping it's probably 90%, I'm going to show you guys video of me trading in the old days where I was flipping, 500, 1,000, 2,000 lots in the ES, and that it's not going to be for kids, like I tell everybody, because I sit there and literally talk to myself the entire day. Some of them will be. Dr. Brett was behind me. That's when he wrote the book, Enhancing Trader Performance. That's actually this book. You can read all about it. It's on my website here. So he sat behind me for a year and watched me trade. But you're going to hear it's pretty comical. So hopefully I can find some videos with him sitting behind me talking me off the ledge. But most of the trade is just me talking to myself, screaming because this of a guy used to manipulate the market. I'm not going to get into that story right now, but I'm going to show some of that video next week too. It's the Pro Trader and one quarterly Pro Trader webinar on the Bookmap webinar. So that should be interesting. All right, so quickly, let's see if this was the ATR reversion trade first and foremost. I can't take those trades on this webinar. It's just not on any webinar because it's too quick. I do them once in a while. 14,903 quarter is the top of the zone. So again, this is what you guys get access to on that subscription. And if you guys, if you do the subscription based, just be patient. This is brand new. I'm still in the works. You get access to the stuff, but just be patient is what I'm saying. Don't send me a bunch of mean emails saying that things not working right. So we'll cover it as we go, but it's functional, put it that way. And I just wanted to get something out to you guys that was functional because I've been telling you for 3 weeks that it was going to be ready, and it hasn't been ready. Bottom of the zone is 14,895. And your ATR, this is a 5-minute Wilders ATR, 21.88. That just means the market's rotating about 22 points every 5 minutes. That's all it's telling you, which is very, very, very important. All right, so if you did do that one ATR trade, you would have been in at 23. You're out back at the zone, right? So let's see if that would have hit. It probably hit to the exact tick because it always hits the exact tick, it feels like. Oh, might have missed on this one. Let's see. Look at this. It's just great. Exact tick. This is what the trade is, right? It's ridiculous how often this happens. So you fill the exact 23, right? And you got to update your ATR too as it's coming up there. Look at that. Look at that. Am I making this up? 23, and then you're out when it gets back to the zone. So that's the ATR. Again, you get access to that spreadsheet with that subscription too. There you go. And then you're out. You can try hold it. Of course, traders always are like, oh, you know what? This came back. I'm going to hold it and see if it can keep going. You can do whatever you want, but the trade is not holding it. The trade is you're out the minute that comes back to the top of that zone. And that's what that price in the spreadsheet is. So there's your trade. It's like an 18-point trade right there. Just playing for these algos. Look. When you look at a chart or a book map and you see it looks like a Christmas tree, what do you think that is? Those are algos putting in place and they're pulling orders, and it's just we're playing the algo game is what we're doing. It's like a black box type of trade. There's no subjectiveness into it. You plug your zone in and you play these. You put them in, you put your stop in, you can play the 1, the 2, the 3. The 1s and the 2s are the best for the equities. The 3s are the best. 3 ATRs are the best for grains, bonds, and natural gas. So I'll go over that once I make the video for that spreadsheet for my website, so the new website. All right, so this is an official bullish setup, right? Because you can see here on this spreadsheet, this is how you determine too, right? So when you have this, you look, and if the market is able to touch the validation, actually this is not, I take that back. It needed to touch 25.25 to be an official bullish setup. That's how I judge. So if the market is able to push out of here, either way, a full ATR, just from watching so many of these, I've determined that is a very good percentage. That's what trading is. You're just trading percentages that it will continue higher. If it can't, the one ATR trade is actually, we're getting in just before an ATR because it's uncanny how it almost gets to the ATR and snaps back. So that's what that one ATR trade is. But anyway, I don't know what this setup is yet. I need to see the full ATR out of here, so we will be monitoring that. Let's see what's going on in the breath holding. Yes, somebody's holding their breath in here, I can tell you that. Somebody is loaded up, and it's going to be very, very interesting when this moves out of here. So it's just sitting in here, but like I said, you can bet your bottom dollar that this is going to rip out of here one way or another. Do I know which way? Absolutely not. Nobody knows which way, but I do know the tendencies, how these markets react to these events, and that's what we trade off of. All right, speaking of which, I think I stopped out. I was short crude. I think I stopped out of this one. So there was an event earlier. I took an Izzy trade. So these are the inflection zones that I keep talking about. These are what you get access to. This is going to change too, by the way. Right now, you're only going to have access to the charts on here. I'll have a spreadsheet soon where you can just literally take the values and put them in instead of drawing. You're going to have to blow up the. So this is what I do for my room right now. Right now, I'm going to give them a spreadsheet here shortly too. It's just I got a lot going on, but if you go into this is going to be the same look for you guys. You go into the ES product spreadsheet and you'll get this, and you can just blow it up, and then copy these zones or however you want to do this. But I'll eventually have these prices in the spreadsheet format as well. So. But it's just not ready yet, so you're just getting the charts as of right now. All right. So anyway, there was a volume event in this zone. So these are inflection zones, right? So this market, this is a balance area. This market, directional conviction out of here yesterday. All it's doing is retesting this zone, and this is where it gapped down from as well. I didn't gap down from, I'm sorry, it gapped up today, but it's right where this started. There was a couple tails in here, and this is where this started. So I got my volume event in an important area, my inflection zone. I took the trade aggressively out of here. And you can see on these trading strategies, inflection zone trades are aggressive trades, meaning at the minute, that's the Izzy, aggressive. The minute it moves out of the zone, I'm in. I don't wait for retest because they're so powerful. Many times it won't retest. This one did retest, and it looks like it's actually going to stop me out, potentially. Or did I get stopped out? No, I'm still short. So these prices are in the spreadsheet here where I got short. I got short at 80.36. My stop's at 80.83. So this is a perfect example. I'm not saying I'm not going to get stopped out of this, but this is why I put my stop outside of the volume event. I force these markets to come back, get through the volume event, which many times it just touches this and then rips. But if I'm going to be wrong, I force it to get outside the ATR, which is 80.83. And you can see that as of right now, I'm still alive. If it gets up there, I stop out, on to the next trade. If you have a trading edge, and this is the best edge I have ever seen in my trading career, you just keep putting on the trade. We talk about it every single week. Treat your trading like you are a casino, right? Right here. You could be the casino if you have an edge that generally puts the odds of success in your favor, which this is the best edge I've ever seen, and you can think about trading in the appropriate manner. The 5 fundamental truths. What's that? Anything can happen. So when you put your trade on, you don't know what's going to happen because anything can happen. You don't need to know what's going to happen next in order to make money. There is a random distribution between wins and losses. That's your probability, right? So if I lose on that trade, I understand that in the short term, it's just random distribution. In the long, meaning this, with my trades. In the long term, it does that if you have an edge, just like a casino, right? An edge is nothing more than an indication of a higher probability of one thing happening over another. If you can literally internalize this, you will be a successful trader if you have an edge. It's not every trade is going to be a winner. It's a higher probability. I know how these areas trade.
171 contracts.
That's my higher probability. All right, we got another stop run. So this is why I wait. We still don't know what this is. So actually, this could be a variation of, we could still potentially trade this zone and then trail our stop to this zone, this volume event. So let's just draw this and see what's going on. Let me take a look at ES. I really hope paper's wrong here because I just want to see what this does. I want to see them puke out 13,000 contracts. It's going to be enjoyable. So it's just still sitting in here. I'm telling you, there's a lot of breath holding right now both ways. So that is going to be good entertainment for the rest of the day. All right, so we had here, this was 171. That is threshold. You can see it on the on chart, this red line. And you got to remember, this is the sweeps indicator. You want this indicator. It's part of Global Plus. Get Global Plus. That's actually what my discount on my website gives you access to, is the Global Plus. Because you've got to remember, sweeps get first right to the orbit. So I come in here and I want to sweep down 200 contracts. I get first right to these prices before the stop runs that are waiting in there. That's just the way the CME does it, right? So the point is, you don't know if the stops were up here. This is not a great example because it's one tick, but a lot of times you'll see like sweep, 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 then the stop run starts, right? Well, you don't know if that stop run was up here or where it actually started, like this one, because the sweeps came in. So you just gotta draw the zone where the sweeps came in with the new price. It obviously wasn't this price that the stops triggered because it already traded there. So I'm going to draw the zone to that price, and I'll explain all this in my trading in my new SI indicator course as well. So we'll draw that. And I will draw that, and I'm going to change colors because I don't want to get confused with the other zone. So I use colors for all my events. White and yellow are stop runs, and I use blue for buy ice and black for sell ice. There you go. So that's the most recent. Got natural gas number coming out here in 3 minutes as well. Hold on a second. All right. So there is a way. So what was the price I needed below this first zone to make this a bearish setup? That's first and foremost. So this market needed to touch off this first zone I just drew. The validation price, 73. So I don't think it's gotten down to 73 yet. Let's see. Not yet. So what I'm saying is, we still don't know what this is, but say this moves lower. If this touches 73, comes back, I can take a short off of this first event, and then I plug in my new event, and I'll trail my stop to that versus my stop off of the first event, right? It may be confusing if you're new in here, but you'll see what I'm talking about if that happens. I still don't know what this first event was, and I definitely don't know what this recent event is until we can move the ATR out of here. So we just sit and wait. I don't do anything, I do want to know where we're at on the charts and market profile and everything else. So this is an Izzy zone. So if this busts out here to the upside, I'm going to take a long here. This is an important area from something a long time ago. And the further it goes back, so you can see this was a buying tail. It was a small balance. Was a buying tail and directional conviction. And here we are now, right? So it is uncanny, as you'll see. You get these zones, you can ask my room, they're ridiculous, like in their own right. I still don't trade them without a volume event, but these are all as powerful as, not as powerful as the Ludwig levels. Ludwig levels are the second most powerful thing I've ever seen in my trading career, next to the SI indicator. But I don't trade Ludwig levels by themselves either. I need to see the volume event. I need to see what the real-time volume is doing. By the way, they're hammering these, not hammering them, but they're selling these FANG stocks. So this is going to get interesting. So let's take a look here. This is the footprint. I'm not going to get into that right now. We look for higher volume areas to help us with the ATR reversion trade. That actually disqualifies some trades. That will be in that course as well. You can see we're just sitting here. This is the breath holding here. This is interesting. This is actually, I could take an Izzy long off of that volume event if it ever moves out to the upside like we were talking about, and I can take this is a profiles encourage. This is a move right to the zone, the top of the zone. So I will take a long off of that too if this ever moves out of here. So we'll get into that in a second. Again, there's breath holding. It's just sitting in that zone. So this is a slug. This is one of the best trades out there for what I do, my trading strategies right here. Stop run at major lug. So I already know the lugs are ridiculously powerful. So this is a slug and a potential Izzy that I'm going to go long off of. Let me get this in before I move this or miss this trade. Let me plug this zone in quickly. 14. See, this should be on an exact price, so I did something wrong there. I'll just say 87.75 right now because I don't have time to screw around. I don't want to miss this trade. 14.87.75 to 83.75. So you plug that in your spreadsheet. 14. ATR is 21.25. Hold on, NASDAQ. Don't be doing anything stupid. I can go along at 12 quarter aggressively. And Izzy's and slugs are aggressive trades. I don't wait for retest. Hold on. All right, so that's perfect too, because then I don't like entering. So say the entry was right in the zone, I would move it out of the zone. Say 12 quarter was right here, I would still move it out, but 12 quarter is the entry price and it's out of that zone. So So remember, I'm not changing what I'm risking in points. So in this trade, I'm risking 53 points. It is what it is, right? Volatility and the zone is demanding that I risk that. That's the size I can put on for that risk. So I'm going to go long 5. I'm going to round up 5 Izzy's and 5. Actually, this is a pick 2. Hold on. No, it's not quite a profiles encouraged trade. That would be the profile market profile composite high. It's not down there, but I can put on the slug, stop run into the lug, major lug. The blue and the red are the major lugs, and it's an Izzy zone. So I will put those on here now. I'm going to put on, or at least stop into those. That is. Hold on a second. Let me get this set up. What did I say? 12 quarter. So I'm going in a 12 quarter. This is all laid out for you. This is what you get on the new subscription stuff, right? This is the spreadsheet. My stop goes here, and I can put on 5 based on my risk, what I want to risk. So that's 12 quarter. That is Izzy. Hold on. And then I got slug. 12 quarter. All right. So I got 2 strategies working to go long if this thing rips. This could still become a bearish setup. As long as it doesn't get an ATR above this current setup, I can still go short this too, right? What's that price? So it's the invalidation price for a short, which is 09. So if this gets up to 09, I can't put on any longs. I'm sorry, I can't put on any shorts. If this gets down to 62.50, I can't put on any longs, right? So this is actually what I just missed here. Hold on. What was that original zone? I may be missing a short off of this original zone that we were talking about. I forgot that price that I said. Hold on. Let me back out of this. Because I could put on other strategies.
Bond Ice Iceberg by ZB. 508 contract.
So that validation price for the short was 73 before. So I don't think it got down to 73. Yeah. So now, right now, this is a validation price for this original setup. I think I touched 73. Let's see. So you see how I'm working it both ways? I can trade this both ways, or either way. Now this setup is a bearish setup, right? So if this does this, I'm going to go short. Does it have to do that? No, this could just die. And that's the way it is, right? But I just, like I said, from watching a million of these things, this is what I demand to put on particular shorts. Meaning this would be the BARF setup, if that happens. Blind ATR retest failure. And I can also put on potentially a liquidity trade where I'm trading in liquidity. Both of those I need to see retest failure. If it doesn't do that, then I'm not in the trade. Those are my rules. I don't chase it. I sit there and I wait. There is nothing here to be aggressive on the short side as far as with my trading strategies, right? It is through this zone. I'll still take that Izzy trade if this can snap back, because again, this is a zone. It's a general area. It's not exact prices. We'll see. Now I'm watching to see if this zone becomes bearish too. If this zone becomes bearish, meaning it gets a full ATR out of here, and that's in the spreadsheet we'll look at in a second, then the Izzy and the slug that I was going to take long, those are disqualified, DQ'd, as I say in my room. Right. So hopefully you guys are following along. If you got questions, put them in the YouTube channel. So that price to make that most recent setup bearish is
Catalyze Iceberg
62.50.
161 contracts.
And that looks like that got there to the exact tick as usual. There you go. So my longs are disqualified. Now I can take a short off of either one of these. So if this does this, I'll go short the first one or that one, because this one is now bearish and my long that I was going to take is disqualified. That's how I judge these. So let me cancel those orders, because that's my MO, forgetting to take stuff out of the order book and then getting filled and losing money for no reason. So that's busy. That's canceled too. All right. Speaking of which, let's see. All right, this is getting interesting. So guys, I don't care what these guys were doing, right? Like if they're hedging and they're getting out of short, this was not the best price. These were not the best prices, right? They started buying from 31.25. Well, they could have been buying down here, right? So regardless, I look at it as they're initiating positions, and you're probably going to see some major dumping here very, very soon. Let's see what that official price is to make this bull or bearish. I think we're already there. Make sure this is right. This is up to 4.47. So that price to make that short, 15.25. And here we are. So what could I do now? Well, there's no aggressive trades to the short side here for me because we're basically in Izzy zones. And Izzy zones are fade trades where you take the fade out of there. But I can put on BARF, blind ATR retest failure, and I could put on a lick here too. It's pretty close. The risk isn't worth this liquidity here, meaning if it goes here, 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 I could put on BARF, blind ATR retest failure. I usually will put on lick too, but this lick is too close. Do I really want to get in it? So my entry price would be for this short, once a retest fails, $14.50. Well, am I going to get in a liquidity trade, trading to the liquidity, getting in at $14.50 to make 4 points, but I got to risk through this zone and then the ATR above here. So I'm risking 20 points to make 4. Yeah, that's not what you want in your trading, right? So I would not take the liquidity to this. If there's liquidity, and look how this liquidity moved up. It's hysterical. If there's liquidity below that, then I would take it to that. But they pulled that. That was there, but they pulled it. Let's see if there's anything else below here. Not seeing anything, just seeing black hole. Well, there is liquidity here. I don't think we'll get there. So I could put the lick trade on. But guess what? Like, there is enough size in this area that it would not, put it this way, it would not surprise me, especially under this very, 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 very important spot gamma level, and that's probably what some of this stuff is. We could read it too. I haven't had a chance to read today. He's been saying for about a month and a half that we break 44, it's like a straight trip down. So this could hit this today, especially with this kind of fuel. So the only thing you know is you never know. So let's see if that got to that 15.25 price to make this bearish. Sure did. To the tick. Here you go. You guys ever see this reversion trade work? Let's see. You would have been in at 15.75. You're out at the bottom of the zone, just in front of the zone, 19.25. Okay, look at that. Both prices exactly. That's why we take that trade. It's just silliness. It's over and over in all these markets. That's why that is a trade in my room. And again, you have access to this spreadsheet now. Right there. Click on that and you get it. Let me know how that goes too. If you guys subscribe, if you're having problems or whatever, let me know because that is just live today. So hopefully it doesn't screw up. So what are you guys saying here? Mike, I appreciate you. What's happening on the chart? What do you mean on the chart? What's happening? Or things getting killed is what's happening. Does massive liquidity sitting at 44.09 skew your bias to the downside? Yeah, I take trades, and I don't see that massive liquidity. I see it at 14. Oh yeah, you're right, 9.75. Yeah, absolutely. But I wouldn't take. We have specific trades. It's called the lick trade. I named it this just to be funny. LICK, right? I played for that, but I wouldn't put on this one because the risk, the reward is you literally put the trade on to the liquidity and then you're out. It's too much risk for this trade. But yeah, absolutely. These guys are going to get their fills. It's almost 100%. It doesn't mean it's going to happen right this second. No, but you watch by the end of the day, they're going to get their fills, and the guys down at 43.50, they may get their fills too, like we were just talking about. You can see there's a bunch down here too. And you want to be careful trying to find liquidity by like making this ridiculously expanded. Try to keep things relative, but there's definitely some stuff down here, right? So this is the major one though, right? All right, so this is a ATR. That's the retest of the zone. This fails. I am short BARF. And I'm able to put BARFs only in the direction of the algo guy. So if algo guy is bearish, I will put on BARFs. This algo guy is bearish, like I said earlier. Tried to pull above right before the open. Couldn't do it. Tried to get that blue above. So this is in my favor. I'll post the video of algo guy. It's an exponential moving average. You can come up with about 10 trading strategies, which we'll have for that too. Just from that alone. That thing is pretty golden to know which way. It flips all the time, but if you can know a lot, you can catch some ridiculous trends staying on the right side of that thing. All right, so what I'm going to do here, just make sure you're ATR is correct. It's 4.29 now. So I can enter at 1475. Short, I can put on 5. So I will put that in. And that is the barf. So that's working. And then what did I forgot what I did. Do I have my NASDAQ working? I can't remember what I did here. So when you do a lot of chirping, you forget what's going on. Hold on. That's working. All right, so now this has not retested yet, so I'm waiting for a retest failure here, but this you'd be in this reversion trade too, and you're just playing back to the zone. So if this goes here, 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 I'm going to short NASDAQ too. Right? So if you took that reversion trade, again, I don't take these trades on these webinars. I can barely take them when I'm on my own because I'm doing all these positions. These are two different sections of the spreadsheet. These are for the position trades. This one's for the ATR reversion. So that one for the NQ, you would have been long. That's about right, 21.92. You would have gotten in at 13. Wait, is this the right zone? No, sorry, that's the wrong side. This is the, here you go. This is the one ATR. You would have been in a 64, you stop out at 37, you're out at the top of the zone. But would you have been filled? Yes. So the one is alive and kicking, and all it is, it's the uncanniness of these markets to come back to the volume event. It's silliness. That's why we have the trade. That was a while ago, Farmer. Okay. Any questions, guys? Throw them in the chat. As we watch this, I don't want to jinx. Every time I talk about it, like in my room, it'll like just stop and sell off. So I try not to talk about it for all my room members that are in the reversion trade. All right, did I stop out of crude? Oh, by the way, this looks this blew through the lugs, so that we probably have new lugs here. So I'm on zero chart. You got to refresh this a lot. Let's see if we get new lugs. Come on. New lugs. So what does this tell you? So you can come up with I come up every day a thesis based on, we talk about in my trade room, like on the webinars and stuff, based on what's going on with these zones and the bigger picture stuff like balance, which is the most important thing, like charting wise. So for instance, this was a wrong color, hold on. It was a multi-day balance there last week. That tried to break out. That's a failed breakout. It actually formed balance here. This is going to be a new playbook too that I'm putting in. Current balance breakdown through the high volume node of prior balance leads to big moves. There you go. There's your big move. Took a few days, and then you had more balances. Broke down, came back, retested the bottom, failed. Right. So I come up with thesis based on this stuff. I come up on thesis based on market profile. So you can see right here is a pretty important area. Whether this bounces, if it accepts in here, the tendency once it accepts in a market profile composite is to get to the other side. So you can expect if this accepts in here, the other side, that would be a target of mine. And then lugs, not only are they incredible support resistance, incredible for targets, so on and so forth. Like you could see here overnight, that thing bar, was it even overnight? That's a pretty big bounce the first time it tested down there, right? What time was that? Why can't I see my times on here? What is going on here? I can't see. This looks like it was overnight, but bounced right off. I mean, that's a 120 point trade right there, right? So now what you can do, the thesis is, if this market is truly bearish, lug-wise, right? I have different thesis. It should hold prior blue, directional yellow, and head down to the blue. So you can use that as your target. If this is able to recover, which all equities do, it seems like they do it every day. They do the bungee jump screw job. If this gets above prior blue, holds yellow, gets above prior blue, then you expect red. So that's how I come up with thesis using the lugs. You can get the lugs, that's all in here. Go down to the bottom, right there. Go to our website, do the 3-day trial, and say you saw it on Bookmap webinar for the special pricing. So now we just sit and wait. I think this was an official retest. And there you go. Let's see if that got to the exact price. It looks like that got up to 81.75. 81.75. Let's see what the exit price was for this reversion trade. 81.50. So you get your fill. There it is again. We've already seen what, 2 or 3 today. The reversion trades, it's just silliness. It's just, we're taking advantage of algos. These are what algos do, right? We're right back to the zone. So now I have an official bearish setup. Well, this one was already bearish, but this one's bearish too. If it does this, I'll go short. I'll even go short on this one. And I can trail my stop to this one. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to put this in now if it comes back. Now I got a short working ready to go in ES and now in Q. Again, stay on top of your ATR. 21.58. I change this until I get filled and then I don't change it, right? I don't keep changing it to change my stop. Once I get filled, then I'm good to go. Because I've learned my lesson. This thing starts to contract and then I bring my stop in and so many times it'll come up and stop me out and then go, and it's really annoying, so I don't do that anymore. So I can get it at 59, I can put on 5. MNQ. And that is the barf trade as well. Did we say there was liquidity down there? Can't remember. No, I think this was black hole below. Yeah, there's, well, hold on. What price is that? Yeah, I mean, the risk reward isn't good. I'm getting in at 62 to play the liquidity at 50, risking probably 3 times that or 2 times that. No thanks. I'm not going to play the lick trade there. I don't really see anything major below. So I'm just going to put on the barf trade here. So I'm at 62 and we'll sell 5. All right, so that is working. Actually, that's the wrong. So what I'm doing here is trading on these Apex accounts, right, to get all these live. And it's easier for me now. We've traded this, we started this like, I think February or March. Each one of these strategies has their own Apex and will continue, like if I blow them out or have a pullback, like one of them I pulled back and was like this one here, you can see. Like this is why, I mean, it helps you control your risk, but these are the rules, and the rules aren't that stringent, right? But they are, you know, like this was profitable, but I had a drawdown, which happens all the time in trading. So I was still up almost $1,000 on this account, but I blew it out, right? So when they blow out, then I start new ones. But the goal is to get all these live, and I'm doing this for multiple reasons. 1, I can keep track. 2, I was trading real money accounts for a long time, and if you remember my trading, you've actually seen it here. I make so many damn mistakes. I've cost myself so much money because I'm doing the webinars and I forget the orders in or forget to enter a trade or whatever. It's not worth it. So yes, these will all be real money, but it's not going to devastate me financially or mentally if I blow out a live account through Apex, right? You're trading someone else's money. So Apex is like, you know, like your own personal trading firm, right? So that's this. We talk about this every webinar briefly. I put my name on these guys. They've paid out $34 million. I've been using them for almost 2 years. I did it right when they came out to make sure. I told you guys before, I got a very well-known trader I'm friends with, told me to check them out. I said, are they legit? Are they just trying to take everyone's fees, you know, to do the damn accounts, which because these are popping up everywhere, right? They really want to fund traders. I've done it. I did it. I've got funded. I got paid through account. I did all that before I even told anyone in my trading room about it because I wanted to make sure they were legit. So now here we are 2 years later, and there has not been a single problem with them. So almost all of those are in the 150. Again, guys, if you are working on your trading, if you don't have a big account, then just do one of these, right? You get in there. It's not $297. So any sale they have right now is 50% off. But sometimes they do 80%, 90%, whatever. The code works for anything that they're doing, right? But get in here. It's not $297. It's the 100, whatever it is now. So the goal here is you need to make $9,000 trading, and you could trade up to 17 contracts, and you probably don't want to have that many on. You got to make $9,000 before you lose 5, but it's a trailing stop, right? So if you get up, like I just showed you that account was up like $6,000. I was $3,000 from being funded on that particular trading strategy, and I had a drawdown, right? $5,000, which has not been hard to do in this trading environment for the last 5-6 months. So I was so profitable, but I blew out of the account. So you got to monitor that, which just makes you a better trader, right? You control your size, you plug in the right values in my spreadsheet if you're using this, and then you never overtrade, right? So this is very aggressive. I'm trading 10% of these. If you're trading your real money account, do not be risking 10% on a trade, please. The most you should risk on a trade is 2%. If you have an A+ trade, risk 4%. You should never ever lose more than 6% of your account size in a day. If you do, you're going to blow out your account eventually. So I'm not going to go down that. I ran it on that for 5 years now. So, but anyway, this is a no-brainer, right? Because if you're working on trading, you're not risking your own money, and you want to try stuff out, and all of a sudden you do well. Well, now you're funded. Now you have this is not a $150,000 account. I say this every week. That's the one thing I don't like about it's a $5,000 account. So if you get funded, you can lose $5,000. That's a five. You can't lose $150,000. You can lose $5. So, but whatever, for the $60 it costs to do these or whatever it is, they're crazy. I mean, it's a no-brainer is what I meant. All right, so that's covering that. Let's go back to seeing what's going on here. And you can see, this has been a slow grind. And guys, when you are trading, I say this to my room every single day. When you are trading, so I am risking, the account size is $5,000. I'm risking 10%, which is a lot, but that's still only $500, right? So, I mean, based on a $5,000 account, these are good returns on your money. I mean, that's almost a 50% return on your money. This is a 25% return. So if I was a fund manager making 25%, I would be all over Fox. I'd be sitting on Fox News right now like the greatest thing that's ever come alive, right? So my point is, yes, these are slowly grinding up, but this is what trading is. This is what your P&L is going to look like as a trader. Make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little, and then you have a huge day. Make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little. You never have a big down day because you respect your loss limits. But the point is, most professional traders, profitable traders, they only have 5 to 10 days in a year that makes up their entire P&L, right? So just understand, if you're going to trade, you're going to have these slow grinds. And you can see most of these are slowly grinding up. And that's not what I was trying to do. Hold on, let's get this off here. All right, so I did not get filled on any of those shorts. I did get stopped out of crude, which is not cool. I didn't even hear that fire off. Let me make sure I put my stop in there. Hold on. Yeah, I stopped out. All right. So, like I said, that's just throw it in the pile. You're going to have winners and losers. That's a losing trade. On to the next trade. What I am watching here, though, for thesis sakes, what's happening right now here. My room better know this. That is a failed breakdown of this structure. That tells me this thing should rip. Should rip. Should. Based on normal market movement. If this, for some reason, does not rip now and gets back below here, then the move lower is going to be multiples of what it would do here, right? But as of right now, my thesis would be, watch out. And on top of it, you get information when volume events fail, like I just took a loss on that. Yeah, it sucks, I took a loss, but that's information. Like, that should not have failed in this important zone. This should not have gotten back above the high volume node. So that's telling me this thing's going to rip, right? Or it should. So what does that mean? Well, now I can, if I get long setups now going forward, I can trade those bigger, right? I can trade them 4% if you're trading real money, right? Or 20% on the Apex accounts or whatever. Because the thesis now for me is long. So yeah, I took a loss, but it gave me information. And that's what you need to do, right? So this thing looks like it's going to rip. I just need a setup. And here's your handy dandy market pulse. If you guys don't have this, you need this. And there's going to be a course on this too. It's going to be a little while till I make that, because I still need to figure out the tendencies. But the one tendency that I've already made videos for my trade room, and this happens with ridiculous regularity, right? You get, so mine set at an hour, so I'm seeing the most buying or selling in an hour. You can see someone's been trying to sell this too in the sell highs, and that's part, you can see the sweeps here too, but the tendency is that you'll get the big buying event, or it's not an event, it's just, and this is more for scalping. This is not, I do not expect, dollar moves off this kind of market activity, but this is what it does. You get this, it'll move a little bit outside of it. I don't have any rules like ATR rules like I do my SI things. It'll come back, and then you can go long the minute it makes the new high, the second high. And then, so you'd be long right there. And then here's another one, right? This one I would have been looking to potentially go short if it made a second low. It didn't do it. And then if it makes the second high, you can get long, right? And then that one worked too. So it hasn't gone back yet. So, but anyway, the first one definitely worked. This one's still in limbo. So if it made a new low here, I would go short off of this market pulse. This is a fade trade, right? Because it already got outside. Here's the area. Got outside there. If it comes back, I would go short. And then for the long, I would go long. That's still in limbo. that's how I use that. Keep an eye on that. I would definitely get market pulse. I think it's part. I don't know if it's a standalone now, but you do not need the MBO data for that. So you can get it like in crypto and everything else. So do you see here? Like, this is why I demand. Did you see me just jump on shorts in either one of those, and they looked like they were going to get killed? No, I demanded the ATR, which I got, the retest, which I got, and I needed to see it fail again. That did not happen yet. It still could happen. This is a big ass zone, but I'm not sure yet, so I'm not taking 10 points in my face, right? That's why I demand that. It's just from watching so many of these. The same with NASDAQ. I didn't get in. I was going to get in. If it came back, I can still get in short as long as this doesn't violate to the upside, and I think it already did, right? So let's look. So remember how my long was DQ'd before? Well, now the short's probably going to be DQ'd. What's that price? Sorry, 09.25. Did that touch 09.25? Sure did. NASDAQ short is off the table. And this is how I trade. And just waiting. Now I wait for the next setup. There's always another setup around the corner. Does it mean it can't come back and get killed? No. But these are just my rules from watching so many of these, right? So I will just, my short is off the table now because I was able to get the ATR above. Now I just wait for a new setup, right? And the short for this one, I can't remember what that was. I still may be able to short that first zone, but I wouldn't do that though. I take that back because you always want to revert to the most recent setup. So there's nothing doing in NASDAQ for me right here. I will wait for another event. And there's another event right around the corner, like I said. Yes, it's still in limbo. I can still short this for a while because to disqualify this puppy, it has to get all the way above here. And that price is $36.25. So unless this gets to $36.25, that short's in there working. What I do want to pay attention to is the volatility, the ATR. So let's see if this changes. So I was going to short at 14.75. Now I put in the new ATR. And you want to keep updating this till you get filled. Now it's 14.50, right? So now I move my entry to 14.50 and I wait. Excuse me. All right, I got to take a break or a drink. You guys got questions? Fire them in. If you're in Discord, if you can, just use the YouTube because I can't toggle back and forth. It's annoying. Can you trade multiple Apex accounts using Bookmap? You can. I don't know about multiple. You can trade. No, they got the only trade multiplier or account multiplier. I think is through Ninja. I don't use Ninja for my charting, but a bunch of people in the room do. There's one guy, Hellenbach. He's trading like 20 accounts. But yeah, you can copy your trades up to 20 accounts. So all of a sudden now, instead of a $5,000 account, you have 100. If you get funded on all of them, you have a $100,000 account, right? They're different accounts. But yeah, and not through Bookmap. And the other thing I tell my traders too is you can connect Apex, the funding stuff, to Bookmap. But the data, just for some reason, it's the same rhythmic data, but I don't use that. All I use is so when you get the Apex going, all you got to do is bring up rhythmic, and then you get these independent zones, these individual zones, right? So, I mean, I say zones, domes, not zones. So these right here, right? So this is like one I'm using for the reversion trade. Trying to get that. I made $3,200 towards the 9,000. But you just literally download rhythmic, and then you open up these domes and just trade straight off these domes. They're fine. You don't have to bog down your Bookmap and use your Bookmap data, the rhythmic data, the separate rhythmic data for Bookmap. You could use it, just try to save some dough, but I just noticed it's not as smooth and not reliable. I don't know why, it's just not. I tried it. It could be different now. This was a year and a half ago I tried it, so you could use it for that. What else? Wait, do you have ongoing funding accounts through Apex or? These are all in the evaluation phase, right? I'm just building them up because I had one that got funded. The Izzy was funded, and then I had to draw down and blew it out. Other than that, these are all, I'm building these all up, right? They'll all be funded eventually because I know they will because I have an edge, right? It's just I'm not firing bombs to get them funded. I'm trading them like I would trade a real money account. And once these go live, where are they? Once these things go live, then I'm going to 2%. like I tell you guys, right? When it's real money, then I'm only risking, once these go live, I'm being aggressive with these at 10%. That's really aggressive. I can blow these out easily, which I have, right? That's why there's been on a couple of the trading strategies, there's been multiple attempts. But when I go live, this puppy goes down to 2%, and I'm only risking $100. And this, if you have a real trading account for $5,000, which a lot of you do, and you're trading micros, which is fine. You have what you have. I mean, you can't change that. You should not. I know that it's not the glitz and glamour. You're going to make $1 million risking $100 on a trade, but I'm telling you, you're going to have a day. If you're trading bigger than this, you're like, okay, I'm going to trade 10% like I'm using for the Apex, right? For the eval accounts. You're going to have a day where you lose the 10%, right? Doesn't seem a lot. Or not a day. I mean, that'd be a trade, right? But then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'll risk another 10%. Now you lose 20% of your account. I'm saying to pretend this is real money. Now you're down $1,000. Now you start to go on tilt mentally. You're like, screw it. I almost said a bad word there. Sorry. Screw it. What the hell's another $1,000? And all of a sudden, and then you just go down this rabbit hole. The market is impossible that day, and then you look up your account and you've lost like $3,500 of your $5,000. It's going to happen, guys. I'm telling you. You're going to have a day. I know all of you think you're just mentally, I would never do that. Trust me, you turn into a different person. I've told my story many times. It's actually on the Bookmap YouTube. Google it. Where I had 2 different days where I lost my risk from my trading firm, which I was supposed to obey myself. I'm not going to get into this whole story. Maybe I'll talk about it next week when you see me flipping the 1,000 lots. I'm going to show the videos. But my personal one that I was supposed to stop myself at was $100,000. Well, I was so immature back then. I was late 20s and thought I was, I didn't have to obey my crap. I always thought I would make it back. Many days I did. Well, my trading firm also was supposed to stop me out of there, and they did for a long time. Once I started making millions, they let me do what I wanted to do. And that cost me a lot of money because I had 2 different days, 1 month apart, 2004. I lost $800,000 in minutes because I did not respect that. Trust me, when you are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's all relative. I don't care if you have a $5,000 account. If you're down $2,000, you're mine, and say that's money that you're living off of, or whatever. You were just about to pull out to pay your rent or car payment or whatever it is. You do not react the same way. I can't tell you both of these days. The next day, after I woke up in the morning and I just said, "What in the hell was I thinking? Who was that person? I don't know that person. Why did I do that?" I'm telling you, it's gonna it will happen to you if you don't respect your loss limit. So I'm not going to get into that whole story because it makes me very sad. Because what should I have lost total if I respected it? $200,000, right? What did I lose? $1.6 million. I don't know about you, but I could use another $1.6 million in my trading account in my life right now, right? So don't be me. That's why I do these webinars, guys, as well. I love educating. I want you to learn from me so you don't have to go through the pain. Learn the good stuff, avoid the pain. Even when I make mistakes all the time, forgetting crap, or like yesterday I made a bad judgment call on soybeans. I kind of made a separate zone from the bigger zone and I took a loss. It's like my mistakes should be your learning experiences. That's why I do these webinars and my trade room and everything else. So learn from it. And I tell you all the time, my motivator for my trade room and being an educator is to teach you guys how to compete with the riggedness of these markets. And they are completely rigged, completely manipulated. So you have 1 or 2 choices. Do you sit there and bitch about it and be miserable? Then you just don't trade if you think that's the case. Or if you can't beat them, join them when you know what they're doing, right? So that's my goal in educating, is to teach you guys how to understand what these manipulators are doing. You think that these guys like that the CME broadcasts this information? No. But the CME had to do something, in my opinion. I think this is why. I don't know for sure. The retail trader was dead 2016, 14 to 17, right? There was no retail traders left. There were very few. It was shark eat shark, right? The algos were just eating the algos. They needed fresh meat. So this is just my opinion. I think they released this information to give the retail trader a little nibble about what's going on. But I can tell you, the big money cannot be happy we can see what they're doing. The whole idea of an iceberg is to hide the orders, right? They can't be happy that we can see we can see clear as day that they bought 13,000 contracts here, right? That's pretty important information. So my goal is to show you guys how to use this. If you're not using this, say it every single day, You don't have all the information. I don't care how great a trader you are. You do not have all the information, and you'd be a better trader if you understand the game. And it all is just one big game. Take it from me, because I used it. And you're going to see, I'm praying I can get this stuff on digital, me trading. All I did, you're going to see, once you see what I did, I was hated throughout the trading industry because I would just run the show, just like these guys, right? I would flip. Back then, spoofing was completely legal. It was not illegal. They made it illegal like 2007 or 2008. I would sit there and put orders in. They would, like, I would buy. I'll just give you a quick example. You'll see it next week, right? You'll probably hate me, but it was in the old days. I told the one funniest story I like to say is because I would run the market, right? So my own trading firm, the one time I actually left my office to get up to go to the bathroom, I'm walking through the halls and I hear one of the traders, F you, Pulcini, you mother, blah, blah, blah. And I opened his door. I'm like, wow, man. And I just was trying to go to the bathroom. I didn't know that was a big deal. He's like, oh, sorry. I thought that was you in the market, right? So that's how much I was hated. You guys are going to see. The point is, I would play games all day long. I would load up the order book with 1,000 lots. I would buy down here, and then I would push it. And then once it got there, I would just yank my orders. And it would be like an air pocket. And then everyone would scramble, and then I would get out, and I would get out on them, like on the scramble. It was just game after game after game. And that's what they're doing with you now, but you can see the game, right? All right, that was my little story. Hopefully, I can show you guys next week. It should be comical. I can't personally. I haven't looked at the tapes in 15 years probably, so it's going to be very entertaining. All right, no questions. Throw them in YouTube. It's pretty dead. Nothing. I told you there's a lot of breath holding right here, but don't lose track of this area the rest of the day because you're going to get a whopper. My short's still working here too, by the way. Just got to make sure that the what am I doing here? There we go. Just make sure the ATR is still correct here. 4.60. Yeah, still 1450. I'm entering this short. Let's get this back here so I don't forget. Any questions about anything, guys? The Apex, any of the indicators I use, or the structure stuff, the ISI zones, the stuff that you get access to now, fire away because there's nothing going on. I feel like I've been talking for 3 hours. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. All right. Let's see. So the other thing too, a lot of times you want to have. I keep doing that. You want to have this alert function up, the text alerts on your SI indicator, because I hear stuff, but I don't hear it, right? So stuff may have fired off. I just missed it. So you had some candle head bonds. That's actually, when you hear bond stuff firing off, this was a while ago. See what happened? Usually a bigger move in the equities is imminent. And that's what happened yesterday, too. Bond stuff started coming in, and then equities got smoked. Let's see what's happening. I don't necessarily know the way, like, it used to be inverse, right? But bonds go up, equities go down. That's not the case anymore. I still don't know what's going to happen, but I do know when you start to see size in here, that's not it. My threshold for bonds is 500. A bigger move is coming most times in equities. This is it right here. Buy ice. What was this? Almost 1,000 buy ice. So let's get this marked up. Bonds have been they've been moving, and these setups have been working awesome in here lately. So this looks like it basically was one price, right? 1,000 traded at one price. Get your cursor on so you can see. I'll move it up to here just to make it. That's my zone, I think. Yeah. There you go. So we got 1822 to 1821. Let's plug that in. Hopefully I didn't miss a trade here. ATR here is 0.125. Pretty close to what it was. All right. So to make this a long setup, I need to see the validation price of 26. To make it a short setup, I need to see the validation price of 17. Then we'll look at the bigger picture. So that is, I think I already missed a trade here. I knew it. That's just how my world works. So it touched 26. Retest, failure. I should have been long. at, I can still get in here, 27. Let's just make sure algo guy is in my favor, because I'm only taking bar from lick trades in the direction of algo guy. Let's see what's going on here. That is not, so I can't take a long on algo guy. Izzy's are a different story. Izzy's and slugs. This was an Izzy, so I could take this Izzy long, right? So this is a prior inflection zone, whatever it is. If I have it drawn, it was important. It was from a long time ago. I actually had to go back years, 10 years to find this zone. So I don't know how. It is bouncing off here. I'll use it. But I couldn't. There's been nothing. This is the lowest we've been in bonds. It's been in over 5 years. I think I went back 10 years. It wasn't a full 10 years to find it. Either way, I could put on, I'm going to round up to 2. I can go along at 27, and this is the Izzy trade, so let me put that on here. Of course, it's one tick above there. So I'm just going to let it come back. Hopefully it'll fill me. I missed the trade. It's at 28. So see, the minute I start talking about it, the thing starts running away, because I'm convinced there's a microphone and a camera in my office. Like every other trader, there's a camera behind my shoulder. So I'm not chasing it, especially in bonds. I'm going to get, if I get filled, it comes back to 27. I'm going long. Izzy, it's already done ATR. I should have already been long this, right? Because my Izzy trades are aggressive entries the minute it breaks out. This one even did the ATR. Have you guys seen this pattern before? All right, I just filled. So I'm long bonds. My stop's going to go in ATR, a little outside an ATR below there. Prices are on the spreadsheet. Stop order 16. So that is working. Like I said, you even got the ATR retest, so that's good. Let's see. Let's look at the market profile stuff, see what that looks like too. Come up with a thesis there. So it's just hovering around yellow. So what you do want to, thesis-wise, we talked about this. If this market is able to get back above yellow prior blue, which it struggled at earlier, then I would be, thesis-wise, I'd be looking for red lug this way. And you could trade, like if you like the long, bounced off that Izzy zone, you can trade bigger size going that way. Right? There's really nothing market profile. This is just a single day. Everything else is up here. I don't even have these merged. We can just do a quick little overlay of this. So, when individual days, these market profile composite, all these are value areas where 70% of the trade happened that day. Well, when days overlap more than 50%, I merged them to come up with a composite value area. Right, so this day definitely overlap. So I will merge that. This one did not, but I'm going to make this a composite. This is how I get them. These are very powerful in their own right. You can see this day, this individual day. This thing tried to get inside, no go. Look at the move it produced. Right? Try to get in there multiple times, said nope. Huge move. Very, very, this is why I have a trade based on these areas too. So that's that. What's going on here? So I got nothing going on NASDAQ. I canceled those areas violated, right? So I'm not trading that. I still have my short working here. Right? It's at 1475. It's in this spreadsheet here. So I can still go short there. 1450, sorry. Very quiet though. I'm telling you, this is breath holding. You're gonna see some fireworks, and it would be my call. Every time I say that, the market does absolutely nothing the rest of the day. So we'll see. I have no idea what's going to happen, guys. Nobody does, right? I know how the market should react off of these large volume events, and that's what I play off of. That's my edge. Let's see, you guys got any questions here? No, that's not it. Why can't, there they go. What do I prefer, tick strike? Textile? You corrected it, tick strike. There are two different Market Pulse is like tick strike on steroids, right? The great thing about Market Pulse that tick strike does not have, and I requested it about 10 years ago, and they still haven't done it. Tick strikes just give me this information basically right now. I don't have any history. I can see when they're drilling these stocks. I asked, hey, could we get a history? Could we get a spreadsheet or something? Because I wanted to see, hey, how do the markets react when these FANG stocks or ESs minus 15. This goes from 1 to 15 as far as strength. So what this algo that they have, it's been around, I've been using this for 12 years, right? It's telling you the size of the orders coming through and the speed, and he's got an algo, and the bigger the size and speed, it will get up to a 15. So this isn't happening right now. This is another thing. They should reset. I asked it for that too. So you don't get confused. You don't look down and like, oh, they're selling the ES. No, they're not doing anything right now. This is from before, right? But you'll see when this thing starts to trigger off. But that doesn't show me any history. So you can see here, history-wise, market pulse, you can set these to whatever, I'll go over this quickly. You can set these to whatever you want. So they've got, you got to Google this to see the different, I'm using volume, pressure, and balance, right? And I have two different ones, but the one that I trade off of, that's I've been doing experimental trades. Actually, the one counts live. I made the $9,000 to make it live. I think I told you guys that last week. That's just screwing around with the market pulse. That's what I'm gonna make the new course on. But this one is set to an hour. So you can make it 24 hours. You can make it 1 minute. I don't like its default 5 minutes. It's just that's too often for me, right? So that's that. I want to know when the threshold's 70% of the most buying or selling in the last hour, and then make sure this is clicked. That gives you the chart. But you can see the history here, right? So I can see, like I showed you, those market pulse areas. So how did this one go, by the way? So there's going to be a continuation. You can do a continuation or a fade market pulse. This is the one we looked at in crude. How did this work out? So we saw the first winner to the long side, and then this one failed to the short side. When I made that new low, we talked about this. You go short, you never get stopped out. Let's see where it's at. That didn't really do anything, but that's where I would be in the short right now. These are just shorter term trades. But my point is, you can go back and see, hey, what did the market do? And this is great information for thesis too. Say I'm long this setup. I'm not long, I got stopped out, but say I was long. And I see big buyers come in, and it just spins. And then does that. Well, do I want to hold on to my entire long position? No. So I'm incorporating this. We'll go over this as I have more distinct rules for the market pulse, where I will get out of some of my position trade because market pulse is not agreeing with my trade. It just makes sense. Use your common sense in trading, and you'll do very well. It makes it's sensical to say, hey, I'm long, and somebody's buying it very aggressively, and the market's not going up. I probably don't want to be holding on to my entire long position. I'll still respect my regular areas I get out, but just like I get out, or rules to get out of this based on the volume event. But you know how I have all my rules. That's these rules here. You get this in my trade room as well, the trading in the zone document. Where is it at? I lost it. I get out of certain areas. Well, this could be a certain area you piece out of some if you see they're not, the buyers aren't winning. Why do you want to stay in the long if you see the aggressive buyers are not doing well, right? So these are the areas I get out at. Piece out. I don't get out of the full trade. I save my full trade for the major lugs or an opposing volume event. But right here, number 5, pay myself as the market makes money available to me. Ludwig levels, market profile, composite highs, lows, points of controls. We talked about that. VWAP, extreme standard deviations. When you get these things on top of each other, aka confluence, that's where you really want to be getting out of stuff, right? So these are all areas I get out of. Portions. Yes, you want multiple R's on your trading. I understand that. I understand the whole idea about that, but I don't ignore important areas just because I say I got long this setup. Well, I don't say I demand 3R and that's it. It's 3R or death. Right? I don't. That makes no sense to me. Right? Yes, I will hold a portion for a bigger move, but we get to an important area, like resting liquidity that failed. That's one of my areas I just showed you. I'm out of some. I don't get out of them all, but I get out of some. That wouldn't even have been 1R. That's fine. I pay myself as the market makes money available to me, and then I'll hold a piece for the bigger move. So that's how I trade. You demand 3R, you just sit in trades and ignore areas. Well then, good luck with that. Let's see what's going on. Come on, just somebody puke out something here. Waiting an hour. Getting close here. It's going to be interesting. Somebody keeps buy swiping it though. That's interesting. It's not registering on the hourly market pulse, but so you can see these sweeps. Somebody keeps buying this thing. This is going to be glorious if this breaks. I can tell you that. I'm going to enjoy watching it because I am eternally bearish because it's just so nonsensical, the rally at all times, in my opinion.
S&P stocks
There we go.
525
This is a
contract.
perfect scenario too.
Showing me
And I'll
live
show
size
you
for
why.
Celsium. 151
Here
contract.
come the pukes, and that's just the start, in my opinion. But anyway, what could I do now? So remember, my stop was where? Off of that first setup I'm short off of. Stop is at 37.25. Now I can trail my stop to this new event, and I can trade on this new event as well. The problem here, and I'm going to show you it, this isn't usual because you don't usually have this big of a zone, this prior zone, but I'm going to show you. So let's draw the stop run, 525. That's my threshold. It's just a double whammy. Close. So a double whammy is the dumb money puke into the waiting hand. So somebody's still buying this thing. Whatever, keep buying it. Hopefully the thing drops 100 points and they get killed. Anyway, let's draw this stop run. So you can see these sweeps came in. I know that stop run couldn't have been here because the price already traded, so I'm going to start it right there. Change the color. I get to show you guys every day. Half my life is spent drawing zones. I have a program in my room where actually that's going to be the next subscription thing, hopefully, where it'll draw the zones. The worst case scenario is that it'll import the prices of the zone to the spreadsheet you'll have access to. But that would be, I would literally kiss the dude if he can do this. I don't know if he wants that, but if he can figure out the way to draw these zones so I don't have to do them by hand, it would save me literally half my life. All right, so that zone here, the new zone, to incorporate those stops, 16.25 down to 14.50. So you plug that new zone in. Remember, my original stop was there. Now let's put this new zone in. 44. I think that was right. That's the exact price I got stopped. I think I filled right to the tick there as usual. Hold on. Yeah, that's right where I was. Shocker, shocker. Filled to the tick. That's what it is. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Put it in. So now my new stop. Just make sure this ATR is correct. 4.47. Now my new stop on this. So say I was going to short this new event. I'm already short, but I still could short this new event. We'll go over that. But my new stop moves down to 21.50. So I just saved myself 14 points of risk. The one issue here, though, is I'm going to be stopping out right in the middle of this volume event, which I don't like to do. But you got some days it's subjective and you got to use a little judgment, right? Usually the zone is like, 3-4 points wide. It's like this. I'd be stopping out in the middle of it. I'd move it above. Well, if I move it above this zone, I'm still risking all the way up to 32.50. So I'm just going to bite the bullet here and I'll stop out of this short that I got filled to the tick on, by the way. So 21.50. It's already almost there. So this is my favorite when I'm talking about one position. You got to listen, watch, and listen to positions go against you. It's delightful. Not. So 21.50. So my stop's working, all right? So I don't usually stop out in zones. Hold on a second. I got to get this in. Did I put the lick trade on too? I can't remember. No, I just have barf on. 69. All right, so my risk is very contained now because I was originally risking from this entry point all the way to the top of the zone. I was risking $500. Well, now you can see if I get stopped out, I'm going to take a small loss. But because of the new event, right? This gets up to 21.50. It'll be just a fraction of what I would have lost based on that first stop run. First volume event. So this is how you trade, guys. You just put the trades on and you can't control the market. You put it on. That sucks. I got filled to the tick. That's my MO. If you've watched my webinars for 5 years, it's happened to me about 42 million times. It sucks. If I step out, on the next trade, right? You could, if you want, if you believe this zone's going to die and these guys are going to puke and we're going to zero, which I pray for every day. I don't really pray for it because if we go to zero, it's probably nuclear war, but you know what I mean. If you want to, get your stop outside the zone and let it work, right? In my opinion, if this market's truly bearish, then these volume events they shouldn't be getting an ATR above, right? You shouldn't be seeing bullish volume events if this market's going to die. So I'm going to stop out there. I almost never do it in the zone, but I'm not moving it up another 12 points. So I'll just take my venison and I'll move on. And then there's a way this could be a bullish event too. I don't know if you want to take a long off of this event. This is, again, most of my stuff is black and white, but this one, do you really want to go long off of a 500 lot stop run into 13,000 buy ice that's underwater right now. I don't think you want to take that trade, so I'm not taking that long. Very rare that I change any of my conditions of my trading strategies, but that one I'm not going long on. And you can see this didn't violate yet, so let's see what happens here. Now what I could do here too, definitely take a barf here. If this goes ATR retest failure, I'll have 2 trades on. And this is a way, with the way I trade these, my trading rules, you can catch multiple trades where you're just risking in the newest event. And you can have, if you catch a trend day, you crush it. We talked about earlier how trading is this. Make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little. Huge day. Well, if you catch that huge day on this trend, that would be glorious. Well, I'm almost back at my entry price. Let's see if I can get 1 tick below there. Let's see if I get 1 tick of profit. Come on, you can do it. They're hammering these stocks now too, so that's good. And you can see you did have a market pulse here. Oh, I'm sorry, this is part of the stop run. So be careful with the market pulse if they're just stop runs. I like to see just regular buying or selling without stop runs, but they're still valid. Right? This was not big money like hammering this, though. This was just a stop run. This thing seriously can't go 1 tick in my favor. I'm giving the screen the finger right now, just so you know. Come on. I just want 1 tick, just so I can say I didn't get filled with a tick. Just can't do it. This is what I go through in my life, by the way, guys. So you can see here, look, so with this tick strike algorithm, this is at a 13 and 15. They're hammering this thing and it's just spinning. I'm not liking that for my short, I can tell you that, right? Based on their algorithm, they're selling the crap out of this and it's just sitting here. Does that mean I get out? No, I'm still following my rules, but it's not fun to watch. I mean, so you guys, do you see this is my life? Do you see why I complain so much? Like, I could not get 1 single tick in my favor. I had it at 1450. It couldn't go 1 tick for me to shut up. Just couldn't do it. So annoying. All right, whatever. Trade's on. Let's see what happens. Bonds, long. Got to get this stop in. Did I already put that in? I think I already put that in. Hold on here. Yes, that's working. That's my MO. That's why I do the Apex, because I forget to put stops in and then I find out $1,000 later that I forgot to put my stop in. Like I did the other day in soybeans. I told my room I didn't sleep all night, like I had stomach flu or something, and I didn't sleep. I left my phone downstairs. I put 3 different strategies on short and beans, and my phone has got an alert on the days that the grain report comes out. Well, I didn't have my alert because my phone wasn't in my office. And I held 3 short positions into the grain number, and it cost me $1,000 on each one of them. So now you guys know why I'm doing the Apex, because I'm just so sick of that happening. Just stupid mistakes. It's just silliness. All right, no questions? Concerns? Again, if you're new on here, I've released this. This is brand new. Bear with me. Don't send me a bunch of hate email if it's not. It should be working fine. You can get the spreadsheet, access to that, spreadsheet to my charts. I'm going to post this every day by 8 a.m. Eastern or 8 a.m. Central for 17 different markets. So you're looking at all these markets here. I'm not doing currencies because they don't have icebergs in there. Because I'm sure I'm not sure, I don't know, but I'm sure someone complained and said we don't want them seeing our orders. Anyway, all the grains, bonds, natural gas. You even got gems like silver. Oh, by the way, speaking of Izzy zones, these zones here, look at this one here. I, of course, missed this trade because I was doing my zones. And I heard it and I didn't come over here. Look at this Izzy trade. How did this one work out? Pretty good. So remember, I don't trade these by themselves. This was soybeans earlier. This zone was directional conviction, selling tail, came up here to the exact tick. So I would have been watching that, and then look at this. This one hurt. This is a monster trade. This is why I tell you guys you should be watching other markets. You're doing yourself a grave injustice if you're just staring at this shitty ES all day long. Pardon my language. Hold on, we got some freezing issues here. Every time I'm on this OBS software, broadcasting software, it screws up my computer. Why this won't even change for me now? That's not good. All right, I want to show you there was sell ice. It was perfect. And I would have taken it aggressively. Of course, it's not showing. Give me a second here. That's not good. No, I can't even do anything on my, that's not good. No, I can't do anything on my Bookmap. Here, I'm going to screenshot this because I was telling the developers how this software and the GoToMeeting completely freezes up my Bookmap, and that's what's happening right now. Of course, it switched right. Oh, it didn't. All right, not good. All right, here you go. Here's silver. Sorry, guys. It's just, you got to deal with this until we can figure out what the hell's wrong with my computer. There you go. How was this trade? Pretty good. Come on. Well, you can see it right here. It was 170. Threshold for silver is, you can use 100. I use 150 because I just want to know like bigger events because I don't watch this very often. That was right here. Well, this even did the nice ATR retest for you too. How about that? How about that trade? Easy trade. You're in aggressively, and you could have got short the bar if the algo guy was in your favor. That's how I do it. How's that trade? Is that a pretty good trade? This is like ridiculousness. I don't even want to know how much that is. I'm not even. You can figure it out. But that's why I use the inflection zones, and this is what you guys have access to now. Right there. Wow, that's a big trade. I got to get off this screen before I start to cry on air. So that's this. So again, scalpelsingtrader.org, mysites.com for these stuff, and my trade room, my store for my courses, and then .org for this stuff. So you guys have been asking. There it is. Let's see what's going on. Did we get a tick in my favor? Just one tick. I'll shut up. Hey, what do you know? There you go. That's a peach, hun. All right, I survived it. Do you see why I put my stops and ATR above the zone so I don't get algoed out? Doesn't mean I'm not going to get stopped out, but at least I avoided that. Like I said, this is a smaller zone. I'd be putting it above there too. So let's see what happens. I got to get off here. Actually, it's 8:33, 10:33. Any questions? Quickly throw them in because they got the other Bookmap dude coming on, educator. So long bonds historically has implied bearish equities. Yeah, they used to move inversely. They don't anymore. Something's changed over the years. So I don't really look at that relationship. No questions. You're welcome, Ryan. All right, so there you have it, guys. I'm short this. Did I have anything? I don't think I have anything else working. I'm short our long bonds. I don't want to bring that screen back over because everything's freezing on me. There we go. So this is just bouncing off this zone back and forth. This is against Algo Guy right now. Oh, wait, actually, is it? Wait a second. I forgot. Did I look at this? Yeah, this is against Algo Guy. So this is probably going to struggle here. But I take Izzy zones. Izzy zone inflection zones. They trump. They trump the Algo Guy. Oh, quickly, I'll put the Algo Guy video. I put it in every week for you guys. This is something you definitely want to watch to understand the Algo Guy. I named it Algo Guy. It's not, my funny, clever names. Funny to me, maybe not other people. Oh, hold on. I'll post this in here quickly. You can come up with, like I said, 10 strategies just on this thing alone. Put it in the YouTube channel. There you go. All right, next week should be a gem. I'm going to release 3 courses, and I'm going to show you my old trading. I can't wait to see it myself, and you will get a laugh. If anything, you're going to get a laugh because I'm sure it is. Do not have your kids in the room when you're watching it, is all I'm telling you. All right, guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit today. Still short. Oh, by the way, the areas I'll be looking to peel out of some of these. This is extreme standard deviation, but there's nothing else here. I'll hold this. Hopefully we can get a hugger where I were to hug standard deviation. That's my ultimate target. I'll watch. If it blows through there, then I'll hold them. We could form new lugs, and then that's pretty much confluent with the bottom of that market profile composite. So I will definitely be getting out of those if it starts to bounce there. Other than that, I'm holding it. And I can add to this too. Remember, if we get down, what's those prices? It's all in here. The handy dandy spreadsheet. That gets down to 10. Retest failure. I'll go short, 925. And I'll add to this. I'm already short. I'm going to add to this barf trade. Blind ATR retest failure. 10 ATR retest, short at 9. I'm getting out of watching that 4,000 level, or 4,400 level. All right. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Thank you.